night, Monday movie night, and I'm ecstatic to be here because it is our 10th episode. Yay! Oh, and I'll bring everybody can come in. Yay! Look, there you go. Yay! It's 10th episode.
Look at all the balloons. I like how the balloons have shadows. It's like
this is what royalty-free stock balloons look like when you chroma key them out. Like the green one there that's going past Kim's face. That one's pretty gnarly. Check it out right there.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting they had clear balloons.
No. I'm TJ. I'm your host. Let me go ahead and introduce everybody. This is Brian Smith.
Howdy.
Whose movie pick is actually coming up tonight. Later at the end of the show.
To talk about that.
He is super excited.
We're all shaking in our boots to find out what that is.
Yep. And then Miss Kimberly Thompson. Yep.
Hey guys.
Who is always overly enthused at Brian's picks. But tonight is an especially good one. I know nothing about it. John. Let's see what John has a comment in the he says, "Can I say the movie was not good yet?"
John is my favorite so far tonight. Like he's doing great. Like claps to you, John.
Technically, yes. Now you can do that, as well as if you're playing along with the Monday movie night drinking game. There's one, and I missed it. Oh man, I missed it. Gosh,
that time was nuts.
Oh man, I couldn't cut away quick enough to get back. There was a yawn there. So if you're playing the Monday movie night drinking game, Brian did yawn off camera. I will try to catch them as they come up. All right, so tonight was my pick. The movie was True Memoirs of an International Assassin. It was a 2016 release on Netflix. It cost $40 million to make this movie. $40 million. Whoa. Yep. It stars Kevin James and no one else you would ever recognize.
Andy Garcia?
It has Andy Garcia in it.
Okay, like that. Nobody else. Who else we got?
Shakira lookalike.
No. Nobody knows that one.
The Shakira lookalike? Come on, guys. I thought that was funny. Come on.
But did you say no one knows Rob Riggle?
I don't think people know Rob Riddle.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's in...
He was Captain Jack in The Office.
No. John says because it was not good. That's why nobody knows what it was. We're going to get heckled all night from John. Anyway, back to kind of the synopsis of this. It starred Kevin James, and it's a spy movie. Let's take a look. Oh, dang it. Almost caught another yawn. Let's take a look at the trailer to catch everybody up if you haven't watched it. And then we'll talk about. I recognize that guy from Narcos. Is he in Narcos? That one guy?
Juan?
I don't know. I don't know who is from Narcos. I actually haven't watched Narcos. I heard that's good. Let's watch the trailer and we'll be right back.
RPGs are way over the top.
You better be careful. You don't want the best things in your life to happen to your alter ego.
Well, right now, my alter ego's on a helicopter about to die. Call me the Ghost. Sorry, Miss Lowenthal.
I want to publish your book. It just felt so real.
Non-fiction.
True Memoirs of an International Assassin? You said you wouldn't change a word.
I didn't. I added one.
So people think I'm a hitman?
Maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
The whole assassin thing, it's BS, right?
Well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to slit your throat and watch you bleed out.
You're going to kill the president.
I promise you got the wrong guy.
Gotta move on, Cupcake.
Why would an actual assassin write a book about being an assassin? It's beyond stupid.
I'm gonna get you out of this.
Or is it so beyond stupid it's brilliant?
he might actually be the real deal.
Well, is he?
No, look at him.
I did imagine you to be a bit, longer.
You are not the ghost.
Oh, maybe I am the ghost.
Oh, really?
We gotta get you out of here. Mission's over.
Mission is not over. The ghost doesn't just walk away. Never bring a knife to a gunfight. You brought a knife to a gunfight!
Thank you.
Call me the ghost.
How about I break your finger if you ever shush me
You
again?
popped my knuckle there.
Alrighty. So yeah, that was the trailer for True Memoirs of International Assassin. Bring you guys up to speed if you didn't watch the film. Basically, Kevin James is Sam Larson, who is a writer who writes spy novels. He's like an insurance adjuster guy, typical guy. He does these like side novels on the side. Long story short, he writes basically his latest novel based on his friend's stories that he meets at a pool hall. He calls himself the Ghost. The guy at the pool hall, he tells him not to include this story called this name, the Ghost. He does. He meets a crazy publisher in a coffee shop, which I'll talk to in a bit, but I loved her. I love the publisher character. She publishes this book online, but adds the word true and publishes it in the nonfiction section. So it was supposed to be a fictional piece. It gets mixed up in a lot of things. They think he is the Ghost. He has to go to Venezuela to do some hits because the Ghost is known as an assassin. And he ends up getting kidnapped 3 times by 3 people, all wanting each other to kill the other person. And he gets wrapped up in kind of a love triangle with a DEA agent. And they end up kind of saving the day together. And that's the end of the movie. So hopefully that brings you up to speed if you didn't see it. Quick comments before we get started. Trying to figure out the mystery of the guy from Narcos. He said, yeah, it's the South American looking guy. Great, John. The movie took place in Venezuela. Please be more specific. Yeah, from South America. Again, slightly more specific. That would help. Mallory said that she loves Kevin James so much, and she hopes he's a friendly person as he imagined. He didn't send me a very friendly email about appearing on this show.
Wait, did you see
That's probably his publicist.
I didn't
I mean,
reach
you
out
can't
to
knock
him.
that
I'll say,
against him.
I didn't reach out to Kevin James, but I imagine that he would have politely
I feel
declined.
like Kevin James would be someone who would be super nice in person.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think so.
If I'm a betting person, I would bet that he would be nice.
Yeah. This movie starts out with an action scene that's pretty cool. It's like, Kevin James, you saw a little bit of it in the very beginning of the trailer. He's kind of like, fighting off a bunch of bad guys at a port and going through containers and kind of working through them. And it had a really good twist because he basically meets a guy with an RPG and he just gets blown up. Like, it just hits him and blows up. And that's their cut scene to get to him, like, at the keyboard trying to figure out, how he gets killed. But that kind of sets up the tone of the movie. It's kind of, like, quirky funny. Kevin James did a pretty good job. Like, if you like Kevin James, you're going to like this movie. It had a really good sense of tempo and comedic timing versus last week's, which was an example of what not to do. I really liked it. And the characters in it were, I mean, they're kind of over the top characters, like the publisher that he meets at the coffee shop that we talked about. I loved her, man. I loved every bit about like her character, like just how she came off, like the whole like side jokes of her ordering coffee with a different name every time, like and getting called, like and when she eventually gets called, I think Carl at the end. Like, it's not even a girl's name by the time the joke runs up. But yeah, I like this film. What do you guys think about it?
I liked with the publisher. I liked how. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Ryan. Roll with it. Go with it.
I like how the publisher is like. I think the reason her character was so funny was they were not interested in making her like a meaningful character. It was like, all right, your book's gotta get published. We're just gonna make jokes about it. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, your book's published. It's super popular immediately. Katie Couric wants to talk to you immediately. Where in the real life, if a random person contacted you and said, I want to publish your handwritten document on the internet, they'd be a maniac. You know?
Yeah. No, like in what was kind of funny about the film, I don't know if you felt like this or not, but it was like after the rocket like explosion scene in the very beginning, I felt like I couldn't trust it from that point on. So it was like at any moment this could change. Like when she was like forcing him to sign the thing real fast, I kind of got uneasy. Like I was like, okay, this could be the moment that something crazy, and it wasn't. It just turned out she really like publishes the novel. The same thing happened to me at the campfire, where the DEA girl that he kind of like has a love interest with starts talking about like it was
Her
like
partners.
when all of her partners died, and I was like, oh man, like okay, and then I was like, oh, this was a gag. Like they actually got me on that one. I was like, dang man, I was like, I fell for it again. John is John's still trying to describe what he looked like. He says he's not actually sure if that's in South America because he said
I think he's saying actually.
He said the guy was from Cuba. He said the guy was from Cuba. He's not sure if that's in South America, and my bad on that one.
Well, actually, I think Venezuela and Cuba would be both Central America, not South America. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Now he's talking about the publisher's role in the movie was major, and she changed the whole trajectory of the book. Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did. It was just like they wanted the story wasn't about his book getting published. That's what I mean. Like it was like hey, you're famous now. Just get it over with. Also, Kim, let me say this because I know you probably feel different about it. I am a huge Kevin James fan. I don't know why I like him so much. I think probably because he reminds me of my dad. He kind of looks like my dad a little bit. But I think that one of the things I like about him in these movies is I feel like he's really good at action. Like his fight scenes, it looked like someone made up a fighting style for him, and he looked believable to me. And just to tie back to fighting with my family, he was a wrestler in high school. He was a top wrestler in his high school. Mick Foley, who was a legendary wrestler, talked about how he was the biggest, baddest dude in their high school. He played football in college. Yeah, he's an athlete. He had 2 big major back injuries that kind of took him out of that world. But there are like moments in the fights that I'm like, Kevin James, you I feel like you could hold your own in real life.
Yeah, he's got that. It's got the kind of like John Belushi like physicality, like where you like don't expect it out of him, and then it like happens. You're like,
big guy, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of big guy, that was another part that was pretty funny to me. Was like the DA's names. I wrote them all down because I thought they were all funny.
Oh, nice.
Salmon cheese, honey baked, McRib, and cupcake. Like I like salmon cheese.
It's funny.
Yeah, because his name was Sam Larson. The salmon cheese one was the best. But like to see him kind of like cringe every time she would say one, like, oh. Kim, what'd you think about it?
I thought it was dumb. So okay. I really thought it was a real action movie. So it opens with that sequence, and I'm like, oh wow, this is like serious. Like Kevin James did a serious action movie, and then the RPG comes in, and I was like, what the? And then I realized he's writing a book, and he's still like the guy behind the computer. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me! And there's so like it was Paul Blart 3.0 is what I felt like. Like I feel like this is
sounds awesome
all over again. It like. Kevin James, I feel like plays the same character. Like he's always this awkward guy that tries to be cooler, he has these cooler characters than he really is, and so there's this awkwardness. Even in Hitch, right? Like Will Smith tries to make him cool, but he has like this awkward moments because he's like trying so hard to be this guy. Well, I felt the same thing happen here. Like I feel like he's always trying to be something that his character's not really meant to be, you know, like he's trying to be this action hero, but he's not. He's like really this insurance claims adjuster or whatever he was. So it caused me to have like a lot of awkward tension, like where I feel bad, like I'm cringing, like, oh, that was so bad. But yeah, no, I mean it was Mall Cop all over again for me. So
Yeah, I want to bring us back to the Kevin James fighting style. Speaking of Paul Blart, John believes it's pretty sure it's high level IDF Krav Maga is
Oh, okay.
the fighting style. Maybe a drunken master. Isn't that the traveling guy in all the kung fu movies? The drunken master.
But like he really did, because you know I watch these kung fu movies, and to me it was almost like in Kung Fu Panda how they animated each of the characters to have like their own fighting style. It was like this Kung Fu Panda in real life. He was stationary and a lot of like body throws, you know, like momentum and body throws. And I was like, all right, I feel like this is real.
All you need is the dumplings.
I think Kung Fu Panda is a great paralleled story to this.
I mean, Kung Fu Panda is better, but because that Kung Fu Panda is almost,
Yes,
I mean, it's a
way better.
masterpiece in my mind.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda.
I love Kung Fu Panda. I'm there with you.
Yeah, Jack Black does an awesome job in Kung Fu Panda. One of the things, Brian, this is more going to land more with you than probably Kim, was when they showed Caracas and the port, I immediately saw Call of Duty maps.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately. Like it was almost like a Grand Theft Auto flashback of the first time I flew into Miami, and I was like looking out the window like that's where that dude's mansion is, and like
I've been here before.
That's the golf course, you know, like when I saw Caracas, I was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
And the same thing
Speaking,
with Port.
I was going to say this because you said Caracas. So this movie, the thing I did like that I was like, oh, I like how they did this was the graphics. Like when they wrote Caracas and like the opening graphics, I did like those.
Yeah, the motion track graphics were pretty cool. It gave it a kind of like
They were great.
different spy feel, versus like the kind of like traditional like like you know normal thing. It was neat. I like the graphics. Did you guys like the? I'm a big music guy. Did you guys catch the music?
Yeah, I thought the soundtrack was awesome.
All they did, I wrote them down. They did "Hungry Like the Wolf," "In the Air Tonight," and
"Shake It Off"
by
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and they did "Should I Stay or Should I Go?" Should I stay or should I go?
Should I stay or? Yep.
Yeah. So they were all like the Spanish covers of those. It was pretty good. Like
yeah, it was great.
I like that stuff, man. I like quirky music in the background like that. And
yeah, the Russian mob fanning out to Taylor Swift was pretty interesting.
But it was Spanish. It was a Spanish version of "Shake It Off."
Yeah.
While he was talking to a Russian mobster.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It was like 3 levels deep. It was like that video that
It was like that
posted.
band.
Yeah, did you watch that video, Brian, that I posted of the Eurovision band?
No.
Man. So you know what Eurovision is?
No one watched that. I need to watch it.
Okay, so
I love Eurovision, and Will Ferrell has a Eurovision movie coming out real soon.
Yeah. So like the like Russian entry for this year is like an earworm, but you have a Russian band singing in English with Spanish choruses.
Oh, that's amazing.
So like it's pretty
you gotta
great.
See the video. It's great.
Just check it out. It's called Uno by Little Big. I think it's her name.
All right.
Or Big Little. Yeah. Sorry.
You shared it on your Facebook, didn't you?
I'll have to look it up. But I agree. Kevin James is not a great actor, but that's not what he's there for. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not method. Yeah. He's not Daniel Day-Lewis, but he is. He plays that one character, but he does it really well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone has any problems with who Kevin James is. Like he's just like a normal enough dude to just appear in anything.
Well, I will say I forgot he is in that hard R horror movie that I haven't seen called Becky. So he might be he's the lead antagonist in that movie.
Yeah, that's where he's like a creeper or something. Yeah, I haven't watched that, but I don't want to ruin my opinion of Kevin James. So
I kind of agree. Yeah, I like him. I like him who he is.
Did Kim cut this off, but I went back and listened to it because we watched the movie together. But did you hear the auto-tune interview? Did you watch it?
Oh no, I didn't.
Oh man! All right, so for anybody that watched the film, there's a Katie Couric interview that happens, and his publisher references like, or I think it's his publisher references it, or someone references like, oh man, they like you're the guy with the Katie Couric interview. Like it was an awesome auto-tune. And in the credits they play the auto-tune song like
That's
of
awesome.
the interview, and it was pretty hilarious.
Hey, what happened to Auto Tune the News? Is that still a YouTube channel? They go away?
I don't know. I mean, we could
Did
look
it
it up.
die in 2016? This movie kill that fad?
Did you say Kevin James is not in the movie to act?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Kevin James is the audience stand-in of the like goofy every guy. That's what his role is.
Auto-tune the news. I'm not seeing anything from this year. So
maybe this movie is what killed that fad. I will say too. If I have any complaints about the movie, because it definitely isn't. This isn't like a phenomenal film. You know what I mean?
Right.
There were a couple times where it's like, it got weirdly serious for me. So one was when he's talking to his boss in his office, and it's a little throwaway joke, but he essentially is talking about sexually harassing an intern, and it's played off really weird and fast. And like, that's a weird moment to be in this film. And then the main one is when the fake president shoots himself. Like,
yeah, that got real. That got real quick.
It was wild. It totally was so out of place for everything else. Because even at the end, when the real ghost shows up and snipes those dudes, it wasn't as jarring as this dude just slowly contemplating his failure in life and then just blowing his brains out.
I thought was weird was when like Kevin James's character, when he's like, oh, he's still breathing. Like there's a whole like CPR scene. Like, well, give him CPR. He's like, I don't know CPR. I'm like, the dude just shot himself in the head. Like,
yeah, you can check his airway all you want. It ain't gonna help. You know, you put him in the recovery position. It ain't gonna do nothing. Staying alive all you want, not gonna help.
Intubate. But it's not gonna work. It's the classic movie thing. You shoot someone gets shot in the head in a movie. That's it. That's the way you kill a character off. The story moves on after that. They're gone. It's done. Done deal.
Yeah.
It was so out of place.
It was awkward. I feel like it was awkward going between like those few serious moments and then back into like this dumb stupidity.
Yeah. No, it did. There was a lot of juxtaposition there. Back to the acting. It says Brian.
Oh, yes.
I guess that's
100%.
Yeah. Well, then if that's true, apparently you should aim higher. So I love
Here's
that.
The truth, man.
I love that John sets up his own joke in the comments for you. That's the best.
If I could be friends with Adam Sandler, I would do it right now. I would be in all the crappy Adam Sandler movies just to go hang out and play basketball all around the world with him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would be that dude right now.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Oh, I think that counts as a Kim Yon for another Monday movie night swig there.
That was my first one in 10 episodes, I would like to point out.
What did you say? 10th episode!
The balloons. There's so many balloons.
I got to use it 3 times now. All right, that's good. It was well worth the 70-ish seconds I put into making that. All right. Let's go through really quick synopsis. I'll finish up since it was my pick, and we'll go scores, and then we'll wrap this sucker up and get to our post show. Let's start with Kimber. You want to start us?
Sure.
Go for it.
This movie was dumb and weird.
Hold on. You called this movie dumb and weird. This is the first movie you've ever said is dumb. And this first movie I've ever heard you say called weird. We have watched Willow. We have watched The Magnificent Butcher, And you never use the words weird or dumb in any of those other movies. So just for clarification, your ratings of movies are all over the map at this point. So just
They're not. They're
dumb
not.
and weird.
If you let me finish my review instead of interrupting.
All right, I'm sorry. It was a point of clarification from the delegate of my movie town.
I would like to take back it's what I said, weird. Weird is not the correct word. This movie was dumb. Dumb. Okay. That's the correct word that I should use. This movie was dumb. It's basically like no nonsense. So if you want to watch something where you don't have to think about it, you don't have to put much thought, this would be the movie to do that. It's generic Kevin James movie. Really not much surprises in it. But I mean, it's just dumb entertainment. Like there's nothing to it. So it wasn't horrible and it wasn't like amazing. So can I tell my score?
Yeah, go for it. What's your score?
Okay, so I give it a score of 65. And last week I scored my movie at a 60. And the reason I gave that, I want to prove, because you always say
go ahead.
My score's crazy. So I actually had a couple laugh out loud moments because there is some good like one-liners or there's some good like interaction. So for that, I gave it more credit than last week's because the comedic timing in last week's was just awful. So for good comedic timing, Kevin James, I give you 5 extra points. So you get a 65.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair score from you, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty fair.
Thank
Brian,
you.
what did you think?
Yeah, honestly, like I said, I'm going to be biased because I'm a Kevin James fan. I love his movies. It was, you're right. It's the epitome of that first wave of like Netflix movies. 2016 is when I think it came out, and so maybe they weren't doing as much like prestige, like high level films. And this is definitely, and this is a Netflix movie all day, where you literally can't find anything else to watch. You put this on, and you'd be like, all right, that was better than I expected. So I think that has that going for it. The only thing I would add is it had one line in it that I thought was amazing, which was, why don't you stop writing other people's lives and start living your own? And I was like, oh no, start writing other people's stories and start living your own. And I was like, dang, what a good line wrapped up in this, goofy movie. And so that, I mean, I like it. Love Kevin James. I laughed a whole bunch. It moved real fast. There wasn't a whole lot of downtime for you to get bored. So I gave it a solid 73.
All right. 73. I can live with that. Like 65, 73. That's kind of falling in line with with my looks as well. In watching this movie, it was released on Netflix, so I think it's easy to shove off as like, oh, it's just a Netflix movie you could watch. But I totally could see this in like that sub movie category in a theater. Like it's a movie that's gonna appeal to like Kevin James fans, people that already understand that style. They would go to a theater and see this movie. Like it's not gonna be in the biggest theater. It's not gonna have a 3-week run. It's not gonna take the place of a big blockbuster, but I still think it's like a decent film. Like I think it's they kept it to the length that it needed to be. It moved really good. There was never a part where in movies like this, a lot of times my brain is already thinking ahead in the story of like, okay, I've already figured this out. And in this one, I didn't really do that. Like I didn't see the trifecta of people coming together. I didn't see the publisher character like being played the way that it was. I thought going into this that I had Kevin James's character kind of pegged, and he even kind of surprised me in some of the things he did. There were moments where I was like, all right, this is going to be the switch where he's going to turn into full ninja mode and just blow everybody up. Like the gun scene where he grabs the gun and drops the clip. I'm like, all right, here it comes. And then he gets punched in the throat. So it was like, they always kept me kind of like coming back and forth, which kept me engaged. I never lost credit. I ranked
those all seem like true Kevin James isms, though, that you just pointed out that you were unexpected.
You know what I would say is this would have been a perfect movie pass movie. Like if Movie Pass was still around,
Yes.
Yes.
Josh
Yes.
would have a perfect Movie Pass movie.
Yeah, because you definitely wouldn't pay to go see it.
Yeah.
But if you had a Movie Pass, you'd go see it. Like, dang, that was a good time.
Yeah, I'd see it with the Movie Pass.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so I gave it a 78 based on that. Like I think it sits at a pretty strong C. I don't think that it goes into the B category or A category. I think it has a short run at a theater and then it moves on out. But I think the people that would go to see that would come out of it and be like, I'm glad I spent that $10 to go see that film. Like they're not going to be disappointed. Whereas if they saw The Hustle, they would want a refund. So I
Wait, what was your score again?
78. So we're actually pretty good. We got a 65 on
C
your
plus.
65. Yeah, I think C plus. I think solid C plus. I think it's really bad that you had to spend $40 million to make a C plus movie, and the only real guy that I knew was Kevin James. Like the location.
Andy Garcia is way bigger than Kevin James.
He's a huge celebrity.
I know, but like,
in fact, I want to know what they had to pay Andy Garcia to get him to even start to be in this movie.
But look, here's the thing about Kevin James and Adam Sandler. I think they're such good dudes that people just want to hang out with them. I think they're like, you know what, Andy Garcia, I want to hang out with Kevin James. He seems like a fun dude.
Maybe. So anyway, we had a 73, a 65, and a 78. I was in the upper 80s going into this. It brought me down to 81. I was at an 86. Right. So I'm coming down. I think the fields are starting to get a little more level now. So
really?
I'm running out of solid picks. So I'm gonna have to do some research and pull some more home runs out of.
There's like a good 20 points between the two of us.
Well, I want it.
Here's the good news. Kim, I guarantee you will be able to say weird about next week's movie, and I feel like it might give me some extra points.
Okay. All right. So out of the hat, Brian's pick is up next. So the movie that Brian has picked for us to watch next week is My Life as a Zucchini on Netflix. I know nothing about it. But yeah.
That shut Kim down, man.
Yeah. That's not a fake title either. My Life as a Zucchini. We got a snort out of Kim. That's pretty good. So we'll find out. We'll find out if My Life as a Zucchini is snort worthy next week on Monday Movie Night.